For today's story, we deal with a situation in which an Auburn man has been arrested and convicted for laying flowers at the grave of his fiancée. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Uncivil Law, where we learn through the misfortunes of others. As always, I hope you enjoy this legal education content, and today will be the day I earn that subscription. For today's situation, we are dealing with a man who wanted to lay flowers at the grave of his beloved, his fiancée. However, the fiancé's family had some problems with him, and so said, you can't lay flowers at the grave, but he did so anyway. So he was recently arrested and convicted for littering by leaving flowers at the grave of his fiancée. So let's get started with this. The arrest warrant for Winston Higgins had been charged for littering after he left a flower box on his fiancée's grave. Earlier today, the judge heard from both sides if a flower box should be considered litter or not. Dun, dun, dun. In court during a bench trial, Judge Jim McLaughlin found Higgins guilty of criminal littering after leaving flowers on his fiancée's grave with a $50 charge for littering and a court fine of $250. The defense plans to appeal the decision. However, the city prosecutor said there would be no jail time if Higgins agreed not to place any more boxes on the grave. So yeah, not so much with leaving the flowers in a box or something on the grave. That is not welcomed here. Winston, who also is known as Winchester Higgins, lost his fiancée, Hannah Ford, in a car crash in January 2021. She died 1 month after Higgins proposed. That's rough. And now he'd like to remember her because, he was planning on marrying her and stuff. Higgins said that Hannah did not like cutting flowers from a forest. She preferred living flowers. So she's trying to honor that. I'm trying to honor what she liked. She liked the living flowers. So I bring them and put them on the grave in still a living state. Higgins handmade the flower box with real flowers and pictures of them together to be left on her grave at the Auburn Memorial Park Cemetery. This is where things get fun and complicated. This did not go over well with Hannah's father, Dr. Tom Ford, who signed a warrant against Higgins and only got him arrested for littering. Holy shit. Yeah, so this is one interesting little familial dispute over here that we've got going on. The father of the dead woman apparently has problems with the fiancé to the point that he's the one swearing out an arrest warrant against the fiancé for the leaving of the flowers. No love lost here in this family. Wow. Continuing on, Ford says his brother-in-law, Cliff Knight, was the original owner of the gravesite. However, after a fourth box out of the 9 was placed without permission, Dr. Ford took ownership of the plot site and discarded one box after another. Higgins said that Hannah's father never approved of the relationship, you don't say. And today he verbally admitted it when testifying in court. When asked by Higgins' attorney if Dr. Ford ever approved of his daughter dating the defendant, Dr. Ford answered, "No, I did not approve." The bitterness goes beyond the grave, my friends. The bitterness goes beyond the grave. Higgins admitted he asked the city for permission to place the box on the grave and told it would be okay unless the family objected. However, he didn't expect to go to jail over it. According to Auburn Park and Rec, setters, urns, boxes, shells, toys, and other similar items may not be placed or maintained on any lot or grave. Sarah Card, an administrator assistant with Auburn Parks and Rec, said she informed Higgins over the phone to stop replacing the boxes thrown away on the grave. Higgins was told if he did not stop, there would be legal action that could lead to arrest. However, she said Higgins did not care and would continue to make the boxes in honor of his fiancée. There is a lot of drama going on here in the Higgins-Ford relationship. Wow. According to documents, Higgins was pulled over January the 4th for an expired tag. Officers ran his tag, only to come back with a warrant that was out there by Dr. Tom Ford. Wow. So this guy's pulled over for a routine traffic stop, and they run his name, and it turns out that he has an outstanding arrest warrant signed by his fiance's father. for leaving flowers at the grave of his beloved, a relationship the father never approved of. The hatred runs deep, my friends. It runs deep and wide. Wow. Later, Hagen's attorney, Jeff Tiskell, asked the judge to dismiss the case. He said there was missing information and confusion in the complaint, saying flowers were not considered litter, one would think. Judge McLaughlin denied the request, stating the flower box was a foreign substance that did not belong. Judge McLaughlin directed him to pay the $50 charge for littering and a court fine of $250. Hagens will not be sentenced to jail, but was told he will be if he places more flower boxes on the fiancé's grave. Wow. After the judge told Hagens to honor his fiancé in another way, he gave his condolences to Hannah's father and to Hagens. There was no comment from Tom Ford on the situation, who has a bug up his ass. The city prosecutor did not comment either, as the case is under appeal. Hagens plans to appeal, which he has 14 days to be finalized. Hagens wants everyone to know he supports the community. He appreciates the support. Man, this sounds like a Romeo and Juliet situation, but at least in Romeo and Juliet, the parents learned the lessons after they died. Let's wrap this story up. So, my friends, that brings us to the end of this story about the Auburn man arrested for leaving flowers on a fiance's grave, which sounds very nice to me. I mean, you know, she died a month after the proposal. You know, young people in love, and he seems like he really cares, and he's gone to the trouble of at least 9 separate times leaving flowers on the grave, which I'm going to bet is more times than Dr. Ford has, if I'm just a betting man. But in any case, he's being arrested, charged, convicted for littering, for leaving the flowers. So, yeah, there's some interesting stuff going on here in Auburn, Alabama, but at least for the moment, that brings us end of discussion of this case. Thank you so much for being part of the Uncivil Law family. If you enjoyed this legal education content, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow. We appreciate your continuing support. Until later, my friends, cheers and goodbye.